let Draymond run around like it was his party. You know,
Draymond had help. Let's don't get it twisted. Draymond had help.
He had help, but
was it a bunch of guys wearing black and white stripes? Was that his help?
And none of them were Kendrick Perkins this time.
Yeah,
there we are. Yeah, he had help, Sherrod, but my point was that they kind of let, and John alluded to it earlier, they kind of let the Warriors bully them around a little bit today.
Jim, this was a game where you had one team that played with the kind of desperation you need to have every single game in the finals. And that desperation, being at home, backs against the walls, some questionable officiating, and I'm being very generous when I say that, it led to the Celtics getting punked. I mean, as my son Isaiah, who's next to me, who you can't see, said, the toughest guy for the Celtics was Ime.
Yeah,
he was literally, and whenever your coach is like the toughest guy on your squad, you're probably getting your ass kicked.
So what I don't get is, and the reason I didn't start the rant early, because Jimmy and I disagree a little. I mean, I'm not gonna. But I just don't get why the refs let Draymond bully them like that. You know, even before the Jaylen Brown thing, which is a textbook technical. Yes, it's shitty to have a guy tossed. He put his feet on top of him and then pushed him. That's a technical 1,000 out of 1,000 times. I can't believe the officials. I can't believe, was it Steve Javie who does it for ABC? Who's
he talked about it.
I can't believe he sat there and said, we absolutely allow what's happening in the game to influence our opinion. And I was like, what? Like, so it's sometimes.
I don't think that's that crazy, John. I really don't.
But you don't. That's saying
it, though.
That's saying the quiet part out loud, Jimmy. Okay, like. I
think it's important for the referees to understand the situation. I mean, we've seen it all the time, and we see it all the time. So like, you can't call that if he already had. You can't kick him out of the game for that.
Well, a foul is a foul is a foul. A tech is a tech is a tech. What you're doing is you're giving people a break. You're actually rewarding bad behavior, which is insane to me. And prior to that tech, Green's out there like he didn't get a call early, and he runs at the ref, claps his hands and starts barking in their face. That's a tech 100 out of 100 times. He gets he's pushing the line the whole time. So when you, again, this would be similar, take Draymond and technicals out of it. This would be similar if you were Golden State and watching the Celtics play really physical defense and not getting anything called. And the more physical they got, the more they were getting away with. You might be like, the refs lost control here because once they established a precedent that they could bully our guys and push them around, that was the game. So that can happen with officiating in general, but with Draymond, they're just letting him get away with murder here.
Draymond was kind of allowed to just be Draymond, and you have to make it difficult for him. You have to make it so that he can't feel like he can say and do whatever he wants out there in the court. He was out there pushing Grant around. You know, he's out there pushing Jaylen and screaming at the refs. I mean, they pretty much he has free reign, I guess, to do whatever the hell he wants. It seems like
you got to push back.
Right, you got to push back.
And to be very honest and candid with you, after he picked up that first, tech on Grant, which was just an absolute, it was clearly Draymond playing chess while these referees were playing checkers when he picked up that, because he knew the minute he got that, they weren't going to do a damn thing for the rest of the night. But my thinking at that point, if you're the Celtics, you get even more physical with him, and you force the action. You force him to react in a way
if Jaylen pushes him in the chest there. You think he doesn't? You think that's not a double tech? Of course it is.
Of course it is. There's no way.
That's my question, though. That's where I disagree a little bit with the double tech, because I felt like
it should have honestly been a single tech, but normally they just on Draymond. But normally they call two there.
I thought Draymond was just trying to be Draymond when he had like his feet up on Jaylen. It's more disrespectful than anything else. And then
that's a tech.
But hold on, Jaylen took exception of it, and then I thought he kind of escalated it a little bit more. And that could have brought it to a tech level. So my thinking is that the refs were saying, well, if Draymond was kind of baited into a little bit more altercation there, maybe that's why they didn't give him the second tech and forced him out of the game.
Jimmy, that's bullshit. I'm just going to tell you right now.
That's what I think. That's what I think. I mean, listen, I don't think that type of a tech is. I don't think that's why you put a tech in the game to get a guy kicked out for that.
Jimmy, there are 8 other players on the floor, and I guarantee you, if that interaction happened with any of the other 4 Golden State Warriors and any of the other 4 Celtics, that would have been a double tech. I guarantee
I
that.
see it happen all the time, of course. I'm just
Yes.
trying to figure out why they didn't. That's
Well,
all.
because it was Draymond. We know
It's
why.
situational too, though. Like he had one. It's the NBA Finals, and they're gonna obviously let that
They
go.
Bobby, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, Bobby?
What's going on? Nothing good here.
Yeah.
Nothing good here either. Trust me.
Yeah, so Ime coming out of post game, mostly talking about the turnovers, flood of turnovers again. Summed it up saying that they're good when they haven't turned it over. They've been bad and they've come in droves when the turnovers have arrived here. I know they didn't want to go the Draymond route. He certainly avoided it, said he didn't expect the technical to be called there. Him and Al Horford both told me. Him and Horford both told me Green had little to no impact on what they were doing. He may even said he's just one player. We were turning the ball all over the place.
They don't want to give him the satisfaction. The point is, both of those things are bullshit. Like, yes, they didn't think he'd get the call, but
hard to believe that.
But he probably could have. And did he impact them? You don't want to admit that he did because that's giving him the win. But the reality is, yes. So I mean, both of those answers are garbage. Not that you didn't ask the right question. I just don't believe them.
Let me start with the call on the Brown altercation there. There's a case to be made that Brown baited him, but that's not the rule book. That's not the NBA rules. If there's a dust up between two players, it's always a double technical. If you get another dust up earlier in the game and decide to pick up your first, oh well, you're out of the game. And so I'm stunned that they didn't. Well, I'm not stunned because I know why they didn't do it, but that's just a completely ridiculous way to handle that situation. And I thought it changed the whole tone of the game. I thought it allowed him to get in even more scuffles later in the game, falling on Al at one play, staying down just a little bit longer.
He literally just laid on top of Al and didn't let him get up on the baseline.
Yeah.
Poole got called for.
It is astonishing.
Yeah.
It is astonishing what they allowed him to get away with here. And not to mention physical plays, fouls. He tipped the ball away from Brown all over him on the play. Ime got a technical on, and Ime had a great quote on that play. Said, "I just want to let the refs know how I'm feeling all game, a demonstrative way, and get a technical on purpose." So Celtics certainly, as you said, avoiding the Draymond topic, but frustrated with the officiating in general this game. And I think rightfully so. I'm not usually an officiating guy. I thought this one was just dreadfully officiated, and Celtics didn't respond well. The close of the third was disaster defensively, so that's not true. I think it's a little bit of both here. They didn't respond. They didn't show great composure, and certainly went down by 29. It speaks to that. But man, brutal officiating to start this one. And didn't the Celtics start this game finding open looks, Brown getting going? They're in pretty good sync defensively, and just a couple of those changed the whole tenor of this game.
And as painful as it is for Celtics fans to embrace this, Draymond did exactly what you're supposed to do when you understand your role.
Credit to him.
And understand what you can get away with and what you can't. He knew damn well when he picked up that first tech that I'm good for the rest of the night. He would literally have to punch someone in the face before they'd even contemplate, and that would go to a review before they'd actually make the call. So you have to understand. This is what champions do. Champions don't give a damn how they win. They just want to win. And Draymond, he made it very clear that he needs to be better at anything and everything that he does in order for them to get this winning game too. I asked him about that, and he was very clear that what he brings to the table had to be better in game two. And one of the things that we know he's very good at manipulating the officiating to sway in his favor. Yes, he picks up a lot of techs, but that typically works out for him in the end because he gets a little bit more rope later on in the game. And so
he gets more rope than anyone I've ever seen. It's absolutely insane.
That's just a veteran player.
And again, I
win it.
And I want to be clear. Yes, I think that set a tone. I don't think that's why the Celtics imploded in the third quarter. I think they're mutually exclusive. I believe the Celtics probably could have opened up a decent lead if not for the self-inflicted stuff and the officiating being horrible, because they were dictating the pace of the game in the first half. I thought
Tatum said he didn't think the Celtics got the benefit of the doubt when they tried to match Warriors' physicality tonight. He said that on the podium. So maybe
That's not wrong, Jimmy. I actually think that's another frustrating thing. This is what bugs me a little bit about what Draymond can get away with. It's not just getting in another person's head. It's he brings the physicality and is allowed to push the envelope, but then he also gets the benefit of the doubt on calls where he kind of just hits the deck because he's out of control, wild sort of guy. There's 3 times that he went down hard, like he got shot, that nobody touched him. And so he's able to buy those calls too, which really is strange that he can.
How about the ones where he just plows through Grant? I mean, what is that?
Yeah, he just plowed through Grant and got nothing. He went up for one and he didn't get touched and just slammed himself to the ground. He initiates so much contact and he gets the calls like he's Giannis there, which is very bizarre. Like, you'd think he's the kind of guy that every time he hits somebody, he'd get called for it because they know he's pushing the envelope on it. But he's not. He got the benefit of the doubt on a lot of those calls too, which was surprising.
Didn't we do a pre-series prediction on what's gonna make you angriest about this series or something like that? And it was just Draymond across the board, but I think we all hit that one. Cashed it in game 2.
No, mine was missed layups turning into transition buckets.
I picked Draymond.
Oh, okay. Cash that one in too.
I picked Draymond.
Co-winner.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
Draymond had as many free throw attempts as Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And to lead the team, they had the same number of free throw attempts.
He was better offensively, under the basket. Yeah, not jacking shots. Listen, you give the
how he did that is when you've determined who's getting the whistle, and every time there was contact, you gave it to one team versus another. I mean, again, I hate doing this. A lot of that stuff felt predetermined. It still has nothing to do with what happened in the third quarter because you're still in a position to win the game. It was harder because of the first half went the way that it did, but. Again,
and if the Celtics players are feeling that way during the game, which it sounds like they all were, we've seen that with them many times before too. They let the refs kind of get into their heads a little bit, bother them, throw them off their game, and now they're playing against the refs. They're not playing against the opponent.
I got a Horford quote on that, which is, Horford didn't say much here, but he did say more than he normally would on the subject. After Udoka got technical, he said, "I could see that coming a mile away." That whole first half. It was definitely different. We knew that it was going to be different, but we kind of wanted to just stay the course. It is what it is.
Yeah, and again, it is. I hate this, Bobby. I hate it. I don't do this. I don't do the refs cost us.
No, it sounds like you do.
I'm doing it, and I'm not doing it.
Sounds like you do.
This was, again, just make it look good.
Like say it. Tell us the game was rigged, John. Do it. Tell us it's rigged.
We know, stuff happens. You just got to make it look good. You just got to make it look a little better than that. It was pretty bad.
This is my point. This is my point on the technical. There's a way to call the game. There's a rule book. If that circumstance happens, that's just how you call it. It's not really a judgment call there. It's just that happens. Both players get technicals. Green already has one, so he's out. When you move the line, that's when I think you're making a statement on which way you're pointing, because then Green can get away with more stuff over the course of the game from there, and you sort of just give him 3 chances at the apple, right?
Again, like Bobby, I don't know
if shot and he gets to do it again.
Bobby, I don't know if you're watching the broadcast while you're at the game, but I mean, or word gets back to you guys when you're there. Sherrod said he heard it after the fact. Steve Javie, who's doing the kind of in studio official expert like sort of stuff.
Official analyst.
Said the quiet part out loud when he said, yeah, as an official, you do think of what's going on there. And the fact that he already has a tech is probably a reason why you're not going to call this one a tech, even though it probably should be. And I'm like, you can't say that. Like, you might do that, but you can't say that.
I was trying to remember. I think it was one of those Cavs-Warriors finals. I want to say, maybe I'm wrong, but he actually picked up a second technical in one of those games, and he didn't leave the game, and he just kept playing, and all of a sudden, everyone's like, well, how's he still in the game? And they were like, oh, it wasn't on him. It was on someone else, like minutes later. I forget when that was, but that was just such a crazy circumstance. Felt like almost the same thing that happened here. I was watching. Did you guys think he was going to get ejected after that? Like, I didn't see a way how he wouldn't.
I thought he was, and I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a big controversy because everyone is I get the mentality people have with, like, you can't call that late in the fourth. you can't do that in a finals game. I know that's some people's mentality, but again, sometimes it's just kind of obvious. And in this case, it just seemed obvious where, like, I can't see how when you go to replay, if it wasn't a reviewable thing in the heat of the moment, letting something go, I'd be like, they let the boys play. But when you go and you look at the tape, you're like, this is so obviously a technical foul, and then
it's John, you're usually not this soft. It wasn't like this, like crazy.
Just a letter of the law.
It wasn't like a dangerous play. Like, I mean, really, like it was an annoying Draymond Green moment, and it escalated a little bit because Jaylen Brown took exception to it.
Because it's called every other time. That's never.
I don't even know if it is. I don't know if it is.
Yes, it is. Two guys get into a scuffle is a double tech.
Always.
I know, but
the bottom line is this: how that scenario is going to play out 99 times out of 100. You got to play through it. Just shut up and play through it and play better. That's all. Because I mean, if we boil down all the things that went on, the one thing that we come to at the essence of what happened was the Celtics didn't play well enough to win. They deserved to lose. Forget about the officiating. Forget about Draymond. Bottom line is they did not play well enough to win.
They did, and so you're right. You were getting distracted. Because I just felt it was. It's hard
to find a way to avoid those.
It's hard to not talk about it, but that's kind of my central point. Get past all of that. We keep coming back to the third quarter. It's why aren't the guys who should be the toughest-minded Celtics sometimes not? How do you have a 40-16 turnaround in the fourth quarter, and then have everybody absolutely wilt under the pressure? Including your stars in that third quarter, and let the game get away from you. Josue, jump in.
You got to let something like that galvanize you. Like, honestly, when you think about it, like, yes, Draymond Green can get under people's skin. We know that already. He does a really good job at that, but you can't let that disrupt the flow of your game. Now, look, before things got really chippy between him and Jaylen was on a tear. That first quarter start was like, oh, okay, the same momentum that we saw in game one. He's coming right back with the same energy, to start things off in the first quarter. And I thought that the Celtics would have been in much better shape, obviously, if he was able to sustain that throughout. But I just felt like whether it's the head games, the physicality, I don't know, maybe even your ego being bruised, these guys just in general, Jaylen lost his focus, and it wasn't just him. But it's just when you stack up all those turnovers against a team like the Golden State Warriors, you put yourself in a really, really tough spot. And look at that third quarter. I mean, you already went into the second half with way too many turnovers than you should have. You have a 2-point deficit going in, which is another blessing right there. Something similar to what we saw in game one, but you come with the same energy or even worse in that third quarter than what we saw compared in game one.
We talk about whether they're acknowledging or not. They don't really want to give him credit. Here's Al Horford talking about Draymond's impact on the game.
First row in the middle.
Hi, Manning, CLNS Media. Al, what kind of impact do you think Draymond and some of the dust-ups he got in out there and just the physicality he was playing with had on you guys composure-wise, especially after a few of those altercations you guys had early in the game?
No impact.
Overall, his defensive intensity?
I mean, he's going to do what he does. We're not worried about him. We're going to do what we do, focus on us, and we just didn't get it done tonight. We'll be better at home, game 3.
Well said. Well said. You have to be beyond this at this point. All right, you're bad.
But I don't.
Right?
But I don't believe him. But I don't believe him. I don't believe him
because it doesn't fit your narrative.
No, because you're telling me he didn't get in their head? Of course they did. Of course he did.
No, actually,
yeah, but he's talking about that chippiness though. What he's trying to say is that they can survive that and that they should be.
Yeah, then do it. Then do it.
Props. He's not
John,
that's like.
I agree.
Like after game one, that's like
I agree.
Being like, oh man, Al really did a number on me, man. I couldn't keep up with him. Like he's not going to say that, John. But we know that's true.
Nor do I think he is. I don't expect him to.
Al don't play the same game.
Tatum commented on Draymond too. If you can find that clip, maybe at some point you can post that one. But
he said he does what he does, but it's on ourselves to take better care of the ball. So he pivoted off it pretty quick.
Exactly. Yeah. You did this to yourself.
He's right. I mean, at the end of the day, as much as we all know that Draymond had an impact, I don't give a damn what anyone says. The bottom line is you got to play better. This really is about the Celtics more so than Draymond because the Celtics were the ones to play like crap. What you got, Josue? What you got?
Jaylen Brown said at one point, Draymond Green was going straight up, for you youngins who don't remember this, straight up our test on him, trying to pull his shorts down, playing games like that. Yes, throwback to the way Artest used to play defense before he became a Laker. That's what was going on according to Jaylen. Wow. He just said that right now. He's at the podium, so that should be interesting. We should get some more quotes soon coming out of that podium. But yeah, man, like I look, the way Jaylen was playing in that first quarter, I just you can't say that wasn't the case with Draymond. You know, he was just emotional. I felt like he just couldn't find his rhythm after that. And then the team went the same way. And look, I'm not going to put all that on Draymond, but Jaylen in particular, I'm not quite sure. You know, I think for in that case, you know, Draymond made an impact in a way that really stayed with Jaylen right now. That's sticking with him right now.
Got to get over it. Got to get over it. You can't. And it's easy to say that now, but you got to get over it in the moment. When a guy is clearly trying to get in your head, you have two choices. You either allow him to do that or you don't. And the Celtics, right, I thought, consistently allowed Draymond and other guys to get in their heads and get their focus off of what they need to do, which is to execute, which they did a poor job of, and find a way to win, which they did not do. So, to me, Draymond did exactly what he's paid to do. He's paid to help that Golden State team win, and that's exactly what he did. And last I checked, Jaylen, Jason, y'all paid to do the same damn thing for Boston.
And I think one thing about the Celtics that we can say is that they've responded pretty well to adversity, to losses, and they've been able to make changes from game to game. So I'm going to be all eyes locked on to how they treat Draymond. And I know I know that it being a home game, that the fans are going to do their part, but I'm interested to see how the Celtics treat Draymond when he gets out there and how they handle that aspect of the game. What's that, John?
Doesn't bother him, I don't think, and I think everything that you guys said, comparing to Rodman, like once you start talking about him, he's already done his job, so he's already there.
Yeah, no, that doesn't bother
the fans getting on him means we're losing our focus and paying attention to.
Well, that's what fans do. That's what fans
you're losing your focus and paying attention to a guy who's like not. I'm not gonna say not consequential, but really not the guy you should be directing your attention to. Now this is going to be some good bulletin board stuff for the Celtics if they didn't get punked enough already by what Draymond and the Warriors did. This is what Draymond said about the Celtics and how they kind of turned up the heat on him.
Like I said, we didn't play with enough force the entire 48 minutes. We had spurts where we played with the right amount of force in game one. But overall, against a team like that, you can't let your foot off the gas pedal. All they need to see is one shot go in, and it can start a domino effect. And so we knew, like I said last game, they are who we thought they were. And so we knew we had to keep our foot on the gas pedal and not let up. And we did that, and we're able to come out with the win.
Yeah, they are who we thought they were.
We didn't let them off the hook. They're exactly who we thought they were. Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, slam the table. Just slam the table one time. They were who we thought.
We let them off the hook. Rest in peace, Jenny. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Wow. Well, hey, let's play ball. All right.
Let's go.
Game 3.
Let's go.
Yeah. Hey.
Game 3 is going to be interesting.
Celtics fans will be ready. Celtics fans will be Draymond ready.
But are the Celtics players going to listen to that quote? And if they have pride, and I know they do, if they do have it, they're going to come out with a lot more physicality and a lot more intensity and a lot more effort and all those things that you want to see in your team, because Draymond's just punking them on the court. He's punking them on the podium now. Like, you can't let this guy. Who's this guy think he is?
So
this guy think he is.
So
yeah, man.
On his
podcast
all
over the damn place now.
Let me take a thing you guys said about
podcast. Yeah, he's got more material.
Let me take a thing you guys all said about they can't give him satisfaction, is what you said, Josue, and I think everyone's echoed this. Yeah, you can't say that. You can't give him, the satisfaction to know that he got under your skin, XYZ, even though Jaylen's kind of giving it to him a little bit right now. But I understand that. But fine, you don't want to show that after the game. Why are you showing it during the game? Why does Jason Tatum look like the most frustrated person who's ever lived every single time something doesn't go right in a game? Can't you just Just roll through the game. Like, you're talking about psychological warfare here. If you show people you're frustrated, that's just feeds them. You know, like a guy like Draymond feeds off of that. He watches you complaining, sulking, chirping, blah, blah, blah. That's not going to help things. Just shut up. Just get tough. Just get after it. You know, like you can play bad sometimes. It's okay. But like, it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those games where all your best players just look like they're sleepwalking and like, oh my God, how are we going to possibly fix this? You know, everything's so bad. Nothing's going our way. Just take your lumps, man. Take your lumps and move on.
Yeah.
You're going to lose some games. You're going to play poorly some games. It happens. But it's just get over it. Hold on, Bobby's jumping in here. What's up, Bobby?
Yeah, it's poor body language for sure. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I was just
What's
in
up,
with
Bobby?
Brown, just in with Jaylen Brown, talking a lot more about Draymond than others were willing to out of the game.
Did Draymond pull those
Friday
shorts down
night
or not? Is that true? Was
Yeah,
Draymond trying to pull those shorts down?
He tried to pull my pants down. Not sure what that was about.
Yours too, Bobby?
Savage. What a savage. Yo, he must have saw.
Damn.
Yo, he's just going around pulling people's pants down. You can't
What the hell
do
is
that.
he doing why was he doing that
Well,
shit
the
to
refs are
Bobby?
letting him. The refs are allowing him to do it.
Bobby, what did you say to that? Yo,
How did
chill.
you respond, Bobby? What's your comeback, Bobby? How are you going to come back from that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, especially when they're allowing it. Yeah.